Welcome to Schola Equestris, the first and only podcast about mounted combat, historical riding, and classical dressage. This is just a teaser episode taking you through what will be in store in the next few months on this podcast. I have several interviewees already lined up for you. I won't say who it is yet, but it'll be a variety of people, historians, riders, artisans who make specialized tack and equipment for historical riding, and a few other surprises. I'd also like to use this podcast to spread word about upcoming events, talks, anything you might be looking forward to in the world of mounted combat and horsemanship. So if there is a conference, a clinic, some other opportunity that you would like us to highlight, please let me know. I'll also be looking at some recent and upcoming books and media relating to the topic, ideally trying to get the authors and folks making those things on the show so that we can talk to them in person and I can field some interesting questions for them that I know you won't want to miss. Our first full episode should release by the end of the month. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I will give you a clue that we are going to be talking about tack, specifically medieval and Renaissance saddles. So stay tuned. Before that, however, I thought I would give you a little background on me as your host. So I'm Liz Scott. I am currently located in the United States, as you can probably tell from my accent. I've had interest in both horses and swords for about as long as I can remember. Started riding at the age of 9, doing show jumping, other things, and really wasn't until in my 30s now, in the last 3 to 4 years, that I developed an interest in historical riding techniques and classical dressage. Interestingly, I've also been into swords, Western martial arts, HEMA, whatever you want to call it, for about as long, but I just never put the two together. In the past, I have been a part of a number of organizations, SCA, Adrian Empire, different HEMA groups, as well as independent groups not associated with any organization. I've done stage combat, and then even Eastern martial arts I've dabbled in, Aikido, Kenjutsu, did Aikido for a couple years. But my favorite sword interest is probably the Italian tradition. I teach Fiore currently at Forge Fencing. So I run the historical program at a modern sport fencing club in Durham, North Carolina. I feel very lucky that my interest has taken me all over the world. I've taught clinics, symposiums in Europe, in Germany, the UK, Vancouver, as well as America, of course. I do have a bachelor's degree in medieval and Renaissance studies from Duke University, but I am not formally a medievalist or academic. And I have a 9-year-old Lusitano named Lance. We do dressage. We are working on our mounted combat skills. Eventually, we will see if he likes jousting. And I try to go to as many HEMA events, as many classical dressage events as I can get my hands on in the area. This podcast is not about me. It's about you all, my audience. So we're going to dive into a whole variety of topics relating to classical dressage, jousting, Rossfechten, anything to do with historical riding. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you are too. So again, stay tuned for our first full episode, which should be dropping in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Again, there'll be links in the show notes to the website and the places this podcast can be found. And really, this is an invitation to you all to not just subscribe, but give me some feedback and ideas. Is there someone you want to see interviewed? Is there a specific question you want me to ask them? Or do you yourself run a business making something, teaching something? Or have you been researching something really interesting about horses in the Middle Ages or the Renaissance that you want to share? If so, let me know. We will get you on the podcast. I will ask you questions. We will have a good time. All in the name of learning more about Rossfechten, jousting, historical riding, etc. So that's it for now. Again, stay tuned for our first full-length episode. I'm very excited to talk all about medieval and Renaissance saddles, their development, how they were used, how they were constructed. I think this will be a really good conversation you won't want to miss. See you next time. Tschüss.